Honkai Star Rail has had enough of my anger. So it's time to put some anger on Genshin Impact. Its sister game, the game that, gave birth to Honkai Star Rail and ZZZ, but people deny that for some reason. Alright, Genshin Impact. Now, criticizing this game is like walking on a very thin rope because, you fall to one side and you have people calling you a hater, but if you praise it too much, you're a shill. So I'm going to keep this very balanced in nature. Also, this rant is for entertainment only. Do not take it seriously. I have nothing against the game. I mean, it's the only gacha game that I pay money. I mean, yeah, I spend money on this game, so yeah, I do not hate it. This is just for entertainment. That being said, the story of Genshin Impact is too dialogue heavy. Now, I get it. People love lore. People love to sit through their video games just pressing the A button and just reading tons and tons of dialogue like it's a visual novel. But no, I do not like that. It is a damn video game. It is a game. It is something that I want to use my fingers to control the character, to beat up people, to have dialogues here and there, but not get stuck in a 30-minute or 40-minute long sequence of dialogues. This is not a visual novel. This is an action adventure open world game. People who say that people can't read, people do not want to read, things like that. I've seen it everywhere on Twitter, on Reddit. And that's the biggest complaint. If anybody talks about the story being too long, you have defenders popping up and saying that you can't read, or this game is not meant for you, or it's always been a visual novel. Hell no, it is not a visual novel. The visual novel stories are like Fate Stay Night, like FGO, like Arc Knights. Those kind of stories are visual novels. Like Honkai Impact 3rd, that is a visual novel where you have a screen, where you have dialogue coming, where you have it's like a book. Star Rail and Genshin are not visual novels. Now, I've done enough ranting for Star Rail, but Genshin is doing it too much. I want to play the game. And Natlan was a huge improvement because, when Fontaine ended, I was entirely pissed. People were saying that, Fontaine is the best arc in Genshin Impact, and this and that, and Farina's story, and blah and blah. No, I do not like Fontaine. Personally, I don't like Fontaine that much as much as I like Natlan and Sumeru. But I can't say that online because, people will start hounding me and calling me a dumb, illiterate person because, I don't know, I did something to the Farina, I said something negative about her or something, but that's not the case. The problem with Fontaine was that it was too dialogue heavy. I do not want to sit through a court scene, a 1 hour long court scene. Mind you, I have 2 videos on my channel from the Fontaine Archon quest, and it's like an hour long of just dialogue. Where is the gameplay? I mean, if the court scene had some sort of, interaction, like, you're doing a proper debate, you have, let's say 5 minutes of dialogue and then 5 minutes of a debate, gameplay sequence, something that would have worked. But nope, it's an hour long TV episodic type visual novel-esque dialogue heavy portion of the game where you're just stuck staring at your screen, pressing A on your controller or pressing the mouse click on your button, or tapping your phone or something like that. And that should not be there in this game, in Genshin Impact specifically, because this is a game where you want to just explore the world, where you want to beat up enemies, where you want to use your characters, where you want to experience the story, but you do not need to be forced to read through and listen through all the heavy dialogues. I mean, that lore can be dropped into other things, into into those sequences in Genshin where you have Paimon and the Traveler or an accompanying character talking about stuff while you are moving, like in certain domains, or while you are fighting. Those kinds of stuff. That is the thing that that enhances the story, that makes an action adventure game much more pleasurable to play, not sitting through a dialogue and staring at Paimon and Traveler and Tainari and Maoika and Shilonin just saying something to an empty screen. No, that is not it. Now, I know people will come at me because they can't listen also. I mean, I've said it before that this is just for entertainment, so you do not need to take it seriously. But I came to Genshin not from the gacha games. I came to Genshin from The Witcher 3. Now that game excels, like beats Genshin every other gacha game out of the park. It just pushes the game down towards the Mariana Trench or something like that. I mean, The Witcher 3 is one of the best video games that I've ever played, and nothing comes above that. And it is not a short game. It is a very long game with insanely heavy lore regarding The Witcher. And I came into that game without having played The Witcher 1 or Witcher 2 or reading the Witcher books. But playing through the game, I understood everything because it was told in a very concise and beautiful way. The story did not feel very heavy on me. You had good pacing, you had good pauses between dialogues. The side missions were fun. The side missions were well incorporated into the main story. The main story was very lengthy in nature, but it still did not feel long. And you had good moments where you got combat, where you got gameplay, and of course Gwent. So you have a game like that, a video game, an open world video game, lore heavy, everything. Why can't Genshin be like that? Another game I'm playing right now, Ghost of Tsushima. It's another massive video game, and it has a huge story, it has a huge map, it has great combat, but the dialogues, when I play Ghost, and the dialogues are so concise, but yet they convey the story so well. It's beautiful. It's like something else. And I wish more gacha games adopted this. I wish Hoyoverse adopted this, because they are the only developers right now who are trying to create AAA-esque gaming for free-to-play players. You have Wuthering Waves, but we all know the state of that game and the story, and at this point it's called Gathering Wives, so we're not going to talk about that. But Genshin can do it. They proved it with some sequences in Natlan. You had the entire Act 5 sequence in Natlan where you could talk to these people, but you were given a choice. If you wanted to talk to them, there were dialogues, there were concise dialogues, but it gave you the proper story. You had instances where you're switching between your Traveler and Mauvika, and you're still fighting enemies, and it's just, the story progresses forward while you are fighting. Some people say that Act 5 was very rushed and all, but I did not feel that. I felt that it was a proper video game feeling. Something that, I would experience in Bioshock or Assassin's Creed or Witcher or Cyberpunk or God of War, something like that. It felt like that. Because there was more gameplay, there was good story, but there was gameplay as well. It's not just story. I do not want, if I wanted to listen, I would put an audiobook on my phone and plug in some headphones and, listen it out. If they wanted to make Genshin story like that, I would just make it an audiobook. Listen if you want to. But as a video game, I want to play it. I want to play the game, man. It's similar to like movies and TV shows, where a TV show could have easily been a movie, or a movie could have been expanded into a TV show. Things like that. So that's the same case with here. If you want to make a visual novel, make a damn visual novel. Do not make your open world action adventure 3D open, whatever game into a visual novel where you are you're stuck in 30 to 40 minute sequences of dialogue and you're just there. Look at the Mikawa Flower Festival right now, the event that Genshin had. It was dialogue, although there were a few sequences where where we actually fought the enemy, which was actually very good. And I like the change of pace in the cutscenes, in the dialogues, and in the animations that they are doing. I can see Genshin is trying to improve in Natlan, because I saw many variations and many changes that I would have wanted from Genshin. That it made me feel like I was playing a AAA game. Something which I completely forgotten about when I was playing Fontaine, because Fontaine did not feel like I was playing a video game. It felt like I was reading a visual novel. So this is just my opinion. Not take it seriously. Like I said, it's just for entertainment. And obviously there are two sides of the spectrum everywhere. You have people who came from the visual novel-esque world, so they would expect something, and they like stories which are more visual novel-esque. I come from the normal gaming stuff, Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Assassin's Creed, God of War, Final Fantasy, that kind of stuff, where the story is there, but it's not too heavily into the game. Like, like you're just stuck seeing cutscene after cutscene and dialogue after dialogue, and that's just it. Like, like you don't actually play through the story. It's not like that. And I've seen improvements in Natlan. I just hope it progresses forward into Snezhnaya, into Khanria, and in the future, I wish Genshin goes this way. There have been many controversial takes. There have been many people ranting on Reddit, on Twitter that, Natlan sucks and Natlan is this and Natlan is that. I mean, as a Natlan enjoyer, I can't say that as well online because, I'll get hounded by people who hate Natlan, and then they'll make me feel like my opinion sucks and I just, kill their dog or something for stating that I love Natlan. But I am a huge Natlan fan because this region actually felt like a proper video game. It felt fun to play. The war sequence is the best Arc conquest ever in this game, hands down. So, like I said, cut down on the dialogue, please. I want to play the game. I want to play the game. If you want more dialogue, make a Genshin Impact 2 visual novel edition where you're just reading dialogues after dialogues. Make it like FG or Arc Knights, and I will play that game as a visual novel. Because I can read a lot of stuff. But if you expect me to hold a controller in my hand and stare at my laptop screen reading stuff, that I can't do. So there it is. A non-serious rant. Do not take it seriously again. Hope you're enjoying the game, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on whether Genshin should increase or decrease the dialogue, and whether they should increase the gameplay time or decrease the gameplay time in the main Arc conquest. And that being said, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.